that sorted out, got up here at the woods. It's still showing -5. So yeah, it's going to be a bitterly cold day. I hope you're good wherever you are. I hope you're nice and warm. I hope you, your family and your friends are all okay. Do excuse the daft hat today, because it's a nice woolly hat. It keeps the sun out of my eyes and it keeps my head warm. And yeah, layers, layers, layers. The same thing as I was saying last time. Keep yourselves prepared, keep yourselves sorted out about it. Anyhow, whatever method you use, drive safe, take care, stay warm. Today I've decided, or my wife treated me, I got an early Christmas present. I couldn't quite afford the Outbacker stove, but we did find one online, which is I think it's a generic knockoff, but it was a lot cheaper. So I've got one of those. That's got to be burnt in today, so we're going to burn that in, and that's going to give me a chance to do a bit of hot tenting and that later on. And again, because it's cold, I decided to bring out the folding stove. See how the folding stove compares as a heat source. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do 3 types of heat source. We're going to do basic open fire. I'm going to do it in the fire pit, but being on the ground would apply. Obviously we're in my friend's woods, so I have to respect that. It doesn't really want me building fires all over the place on the ground. So we'll use the fire pit. We'll get a fire going in there. Just to show it can be done at -5. Keep your hands warm. Then we'll try that little folding stove that I've been trialing, that I've been trying out, the cheap one. We'll get that out, we'll see how that goes. We'll get a little fire going in that and see how that compares as a heat source. And we will get my new tent stove going. And again, we're not going to put a tent up today. There's no need for a shelter. The air's fairly still. All I'm doing today is just comparing these things for heat sources. Having a bit of a dinner, having a bit of a natter to you, and having a bit of a restful day out in the woods. Anyhow, onwards with the video, okay? Very cold today, so as we say, we're going to prep some fire. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm down in the kneeling position because it's cold and I'm using gloves. Because I'm using gloves, my grip isn't going to be quite as good and my hands are a bit cold. So again, what we do, take the axe. I've placed the log on top of a hard log. I'm going to come back and check what I call my drop. So my axe, if I miss, is going to stop on the log. It's not going to whiz past and hit me in the leg, which I don't want. Cut these logs down a bit further than I normally would, purely and simply because we're not going to be building massive fires today. I'm not warming up loads of people out here, which is what usually happens. It's just me. And we'll be cracking out a video about fires. So we're going to be getting several fires going. Anyhow, put the axe away, don't need that now. And let's go on some kindling prep. So, battening knife, British Army survival knife. I'd recommend it to anybody. Cheap, cheerful, they're out there. You can pick them up fairly affordably and you're not going to find a quality knife at the prices you can pick those up at the Army surplus stores. So, place my knife on top of what I wish to batten. Go down 2/3, come out. Carefully find my nick spot. Down about 2/3, come out. About 2/3. half that again. Makes a nice little bundle I can carry over to the fire, or I can chuck it over to the fire, peel it off as I need it. Then some slightly larger pieces. Once I've got one fire going today, I'm going to be quite happy, because it's going to give me a little bit of background heat. Once I've got that, I'll be happy. We're not building big fires either today. Right, let's get our fire underway. So, what we're going to do, build a fire here as if we were on the ground, so nice base. I've got some charred timbers there, which I'm going to use for the base. I've got some little pine nodules that I've had knocking around at home in the back of the workshop. Grab some of them. Pine, silver birch, all burn fast, all have lots of oils in them that will always help fire get going. So in these conditions, if you've got some softwood, use some softwood to start your fire, get your heat building, and then use your hardwoods on top of that to give you a continuous fire. But if you want the advantage, pines, birches and that, they'll all burn readily and they'll all get your fire going. If you've got ash, again, that makes a brilliant fire starter. In fact, ash is the Rolls Royce of woods if you've got it. So what we're going to do, build a basic fire here, we'll get that going. I'm not going to rab it too much. I'm just going to position the camera probably over to one side because we've got no wind today, and so the smoke's always going to come towards me. So I'll position the camera over there, let you see what I'm doing, and we'll get this fire built. Okie dokie. Right, let's get this fire built. What should we go with today? It's cold, so we always like a nice bit of silver birch. Always makes a good starter to a fire. These smaller twigs out of the way. And we'll go with a chemical fire. Right, some potassium permanganate. Poured out, sealed, put away. Bit of glycerin. In this case, it is just a generic vape juice, which is full of glycerin. Pour that onto the potassium. Give it a little stir. In fact, actually, it's all run off the sides because it's cold. Let's get a little bit more in there. There we go. And sit back and wait. Thank you very much.
And we'll let that fire do its thing.
So as you see, fire started. The wood is damp. There's no choice about it. We've had a lot of cold weather, we've had a lot of frost, a lot of ice. So lots and lots of kindling. Cut your woods fairly fine, give them a chance. Don't starve. You're going to have a lot of steam on this fire, purely simply because of the moisture from the ice. So what you want to be building is a fairly open fire, and it's going to be a slow burn. But if you're patient, you give plenty of oxygen, heat, fuel source, you're going to get a fire. So and again, using the softwoods for their oils and their saps, it helps us to get the fire started. Right, that fire at 0 degrees using potassium, permanganate, and a little bit of glycerin, a little bit of silver birch to get it going. There we go. We'll stand back from that. We'll let it do its thing. As we say, you've got to keep feeding it. If you let it sit, it will go out. But you can revive it really quickly. There's your downfall. Took my eyes off it for 5 minutes and nearly lost the fire. Still, kettle's boiling. Time for a brew. So getting back to the bush box, some people think I'm really negative about it. I'll be honest with you, I'm not. I'm really positive about it. I think for sub 20 quid, as a piece of kit to have, so you can light a fire out in the woods and you can cook, or as an emergency backup at home so that you can boil some water. You can set it up out in the garden, use a bit of materials and boil water on it. Yeah, superb. It's a brilliant budget bit of kit. I won't take it away from it. You've got to play with it. It's cheap. The hinges bend, the wires slide out. You've got to play with it. But I tell you what, for what it is, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's cheap. It's cheerful. It does exactly what it says on the tin. Excuse me. The other good bonus with it, I suppose, in one way, if you're doing light camps and that, it does burn down fairly quick. It cools fast. It leaves very little ash. So at the end of the day, for breakdown at the end of the day, so if you're going to be doing your breakfast on it and a brew, you could do that, let it burn down. Whilst it's burning down and it's cooling, you could break camp, set up all your other kit, get yourselves organised, pack that away. Last thing, it will be cold enough to go. So for that, yeah, I can't take away from it. That's the Bush box. Well, it's not made by Bush box, but it's a cheap generic Bush box from, or firebox from Amazon. Can't fault it. And the bag, that bag still pants, but it goes in there and it packs away in my kit. So anyhow guys, right, that's done the open fire, done that. Leave the kettle next to the fire, keeps it warm. Got a brew. Now let's get onto this stove. Let's see what we can do with that, see how that works. So I'm going to set that up out in the open up here, and we will see how it goes. I've got to burn or cure the paint on it by getting temperature up together for it, so hence I didn't bother bringing any sort of shelter out today, because at the end of the day doing that inside a shelter, it's just going to poison myself. It's not worth doing. Right, we'll crack on with this, get ourselves organised and set up this this firebox, or stove. Do this. Fire stove, okay, or tent stove. It's a copy of the Outbacker, made by one of the many firms on Amazon. It's probably made in the same factory and supplied under a different name. I wanted an Outbacker. Unfortunately couldn't quite afford one. It was just a little bit out of my budget for the moment, so got this one instead. We're going to give it a go. I'll give you an honest review. What you want to do with one of these and any of the painted stoves, when you first get it out in the open somewhere, garden or out in the woods where you're going to be going, and get a good fire going in it, cure it. The paints on these things need to be cured, and they rely on heat to do that. They're not done from the factory, and the fumes that are given off on the paint when you're first burning it and when you first have your fire in it, they cure off. Those fumes are quite nasty. You don't really want to be breathing those. So we'll get it out of the bag. Bag itself, it's a quite a heavy nylon, although I wouldn't say it's probably going to last forever. It's not the best, however it's also not the worst. It's not falling apart like the little Bush box one. Fit wise, it's okay. Be a bit fiddly to get out. This is the bag that came with it. And I think one of the reasons I'm having a little bit of difficulty today as well is my hands are frozen. So dump the bag up there. So it's not that heavy. It's not something you want to be lugging around if you're carrying kit for miles. But it's not that bad. You could carry this for a mile or two to wherever you're putting your camp up. If you've got a hot tent, lug it out. If you're carrying a hot tent, that's going to have some weight to it anyhow. So I think generically these things tend to go with car camping, hot tenting, setting up on sites, and coming out like I am here, where I can drive into the woods and set up. Ideal for the back garden as well. I'm going to try this one under my gazebo at home and see if that makes it nice and warm for me and the wife. Have a pleasant evening sat out there enjoying that. So, and it's quite an easy setup. Undo the little clips, the legs swing out, all the holes line up, little clips basically just come back round and clip into the pins. There we go, 3 legs, 1 stove. Now I'm going to set it up here. There's ice on this log, So what I want to do, I'm sitting it about 6 inches away from the log, and I want to see how much heat it puts out. You can open up the hook ring there. That's about 2mm steel on that. Don't know what the rest of it's going to be. The top's relatively thick. The door basically has 2 slots in it here, and that's your airflow control. Same as the out back here, you've got a little ash catcher there, and you store all your chimney sections inside. So you've got this short piece slots in there. First section with your control there, or your damper there. They give you a nice little pair of what they call heat-proof gloves. We'll try those, see how effective they are. And you've got a spark arrestor with 3 points so that you can stabilise it if you're going to be out in a windy environment. You can put cables onto that, tie it off. Let's get this chimney set up. He says they're all the same. Okay, so let's see. They're quite a tight fit, which actually I quite like, and they seem to be reasonable quality. They are stainless steel. So that's the chimney set. Let's have a look, see how that looks. Right, it's the first bird today. So what we're going to do, come with some fairly light material. And we're going to use fire lighters. Now, what didn't come with it, there's the base, and so there was no tray or trivet to lift the wood up to allow the oxygen to get underneath it. So I whacked something together quick in the shed, and the idea of that is it just sits on the floor in there, lifts the wood up, allows the oxygen to get underneath it. Hopefully that'll make a better system, or will help it to burn efficiently. So what we're going to do, I'll use up the last of these because I've got 3 left. Oh. That's it away. Oh, we'll let that get itself sorted out, see how that goes. So there we have it, tent stove. Am I impressed? Yes. Did I have a little bit of trouble setting it up? Not really, it's my own stupidity. It was getting the fire set up. The trick is, light the fire at the front, don't light it at the back, otherwise it gets sucked to the back by the chimney. It's fuel efficient, I will say that much. I've definitely not gone through much in the way of materials or wood in there. It's a fantastic system, and I am really looking forward to getting out and using it in the tent. So we're happy with that. Guys, so there we go. That's our video for today. We've been up the woods. So we've done the 3 types of fire for today, or what I would call open fire. We've done the bush box. Yeah, seen that's place. It doesn't give out a huge amount of heat for what it is, but it's great for cooking on. Done the tent stove, mightily impressed with that. Look forward to using it. Open fire, an open fire is a lovely thing. Gives off light, gives off heat and that, but again, it's not fuel efficient, is it? So anyhow, that's where we're going. I mean, a couple of guys have commented that they like the fire pit. The fire pit was actually made for Surrey 4x4 Tours and Training. They're the guys that let me use the woods. I will try and find out details about that for you guys as and when I can. And obviously the fire irons on it, they were made by myself in the forge. So basically it meant we could hang a pot on it, make coffee, so on and so on and so on. Guys, I'm waffling now. I've got one thing I would like to say. It's winter and it's Christmas. A lot of guys suffer with it. There's a lot of people doesn't help their depression, or it doesn't help their mental health. So guys, look to your friends, look to your family, look around you. Just maybe somebody struggling out there just needs an arm on their shoulder. You know, it's just take care. And if you're anybody that suffers with that sort of thing, you know, tell people, try and talk to your friends and family about it. They'll understand. You know, they love you. So guys, keep warm, keep safe. Look to those out there that may be struggling a bit, whether it be with the temperature or anything else. Look after yourselves, be good, love one another, yeah? Peace and love. This is Mick, Hampshire Outdoors Survival. Please like and subscribe. Hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are. Catch you later.